Okay. Ready to begin our next session of the afternoon with the Kansas Jayhawks, student athletes Devonte Graham and Landen Lucas. Questions for either one? Microphones on either side. Please state name and affiliation when you pose your question. Guys, first question will go on your left toward the back.
Blair Kirchhoff with the Kansas City Star. Landen, how much of an attention getter is it for you that Purdue, beat the team that beat you guys in Allen Fieldhouse earlier this year, and kind of were up on them pretty big for a good chunk of that game?
A little bit, but I mean, throughout the year, we've had so many teams that have maybe beat us, that got beat by other teams, and we don't look too much into it. I mean, we feel like if we go out there and play our game, we can match up with anybody. So we're not too worried about who they just beat.
We'll move to the far back on the right.
Danny Klingscale from Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. Landen, you mentioned the other day that you don't want to think or focus on the fact that about foul trouble. But they obviously have some good size in there. What's the balance for you in keeping your aggressive nature and then avoiding fouls, but not thinking about it?
Yeah, it really is just depends on how the refs want to call the game, and so I'm hoping that they kind of let us play, just because we'll be battling down there. I'm sure it'll be equal on both sides. So, but if they're calling it tight, I just got to make sure I adjust early on. I want to go out there really not thinking about it too much, but as soon as I kind of get a feel for how they're calling it, start to adjust after that.
Let's go back to the left.
Chris Lazzarino with Kansas alumni. Devonte, not to imply that this aspect of your game, of the team's game, has been a factor in the previous two games, but your free throw shooting is way up as a team. And the last time we talked to Frank before postseason, he said that one of the keys to winning was the team shooting 80% free throws. And when we told Coach Self that, he seemed pretty shocked. He said, "Why not go for 90?" Well, you guys are at that number and above it. Did you guys agree on that number of 80%, or have you guys talked about that and the importance of that moving forward?
Well, after every practice, we just shoot like 10 minutes of free throws before we get out, and we just really lock in, because we know it could be a win or a lose coming down to making free throws. So, everybody's just been real focused in on practicing, knocking down free throws, and practicing as if everyone was a game winner.
Other questions? Okay. On the left toward the back.
Landen, what's the comfort level for this team in this building?
I think we're all very comfortable. I mean, even just walking to a locker room right now, we're familiar with everything. We've been here so many times, and we're just, happy to be here in front of our fans, and it's definitely an advantage that we're, happy about.
Okay. We'll go to the right side in the
Danny Klingscale again. Devonte, you have got your shot going here in this tournament. You've made multiple three-pointers in both games at a high percentage. Does that give you a little boost? Not that you were shooting it poorly, but maybe down the stretch it wasn't quite up to your usual standard.
Definitely give me a little confidence. Like you said, towards the end of the season, I wasn't really shooting it well, and the coaching staff and my guys always give me confidence, telling me keep shooting the ball, and then so that's what I do, is just try to knock down open shots when I'm open.
You seem you obviously had a little problem with your foot, but you seemed really pretty bouncy in the last game. Are you physically feeling a little bit better?
Yeah, my foot's fine. I feel 100%. Just happy that everybody's 100% and that we're out here competing.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move over here to the extreme left.
Landen, could you just talk about specifically matching up with the Purdue bigs? Obviously, there's a National Player of the Year candidate in there and some big post presence.
They're all fantastic players. They got a great big in Swanigan, and I'm definitely looking forward to the matchup.
Okay, here toward the front. On our left.
Devonte, just what's the toughest part Purdue's guards preparing for them?
I think they do a good job of, moving without the ball. They all can stretch the floor and shoot it. They're good passers. Watching film on them, they feed the post really well, and they move really well without the ball, catch you sleeping, and ball watching and stuff like that.
Other questions for Devonte or Landen? Okay, we'll follow up here on the left.
And just for both of you, how does it differ from last year being in the Sweet 16?
We'll let Devonte start with that.
I don't really think it's a difference, except for we're in Kansas City, which is the biggest thing. It feels like we're at home, and it's kind of like playing a little home game in a Sprint Center.
I'd agree. I mean, I think most of the other things are about the same. We got the same amount of focus. We're prepared and ready to go like we were last year. And I think the difference is just that, we're in a familiar place with our fans here. And, that's definitely going to be something that's helpful for us.
On the back row.
Devonte, lately with your steals and ability to knock down threes, you're playing about as well as anyone, but yet everyone is focused on Frank and the National Player of the Year. Do you like kind of the understudy? Does that maybe take pressure off, allow you to play more free?
Well, I've always kind of been, kind of a little understudy, I guess, as you would say. But Frank is getting the attention that he deserves. I think he's the National Player of the Year, so I feel like I get the attention that I deserve too, and I just do whatever I can to help the team win, and everything that we do is noticed by the people that we needed to be noticed by the coaches, by our teammates, Landen, and everybody. So, the little things that we do for the team to help us win, we all notice it.
Here on the left.
Landon, could you comment on Dwight's big minutes in the last game, big game, key time, a lot of productivity? How can that help this team going forward?
That was huge. I think the biggest part of that was just, he never knows, going into the game just how much he's going to play, and he was ready for it and stepped up, took advantage of the opportunity and helped us win. And I think that's good, giving him confidence moving forward, understanding that he's probably going to be a bigger part of this game plan, not coming into this game, not really knowing if he is or not. I think he knows that we're going to need him, and he's prepared for it. And he's a vet. He's played at Ole Miss and played here, and this last game is going to help him out too, and he'll be ready to go once he steps out there.
Any other questions now for Devonte or Landen? All right, I see no hands. We'll let you go back to the locker room with your communications staff, Jim Marcioni and Chris Tyson. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks guys.